Every car with a manual transmission relies on one critical but often overlooked element: the transmission fluid. It doesn't get the same spotlight as engine oil or coolant, but for a stick-shift vehicle, it's the lifeblood that keeps your gearbox alive. Without the proper type and level of fluid, the gears, bearings, and synchronizers inside the transmission can't stay cool, lubricated, or protected from wear. That's when things start to go wrong. Shifting feels rough, strange noises appear, and if ignored for too long, you can be looking at major repair bills. Today, we're going to break down the signs and symptoms of low transmission fluid in a manual vehicle, why it matters, what types of fluid are out there, how often you should change it, and even walk through fluid change procedures for popular makes like Ford, Chevy, Nissan, and Honda. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to respond, and how to keep your gearbox in top shape. Welcome to Auto V-Fix. If you love practical car repair guides explained in plain English but with all the technical depth, hit that subscribe button now, because what you'll learn here could easily save you thousands in repairs. Now let's start with why this fluid is so important in the first place. A manual transmission is a beautiful piece of engineering, filled with gears that must mesh smoothly, synchronizers that match their speeds, and bearings that allow rotation without destructive friction. Every time you move the stick, you're engaging that whole system. The transmission fluid sits at the center of it all. Its job is to lubricate those parts, carry heat away, prevent metal-to-metal contact, and even influence the feel of your shifts. Drivers who love manuals often talk about the shift feel being crisp or smooth, and that's not just mechanics. It's also the quality and condition of the fluid. When fluid levels are healthy, the gears mesh easily, heat stays under control, and brass synchronizers, which are softer than steel and especially vulnerable, remain safe. When fluid runs low or gets contaminated, the results can show up fast. Let's go through the warning signs you should never ignore. One of the easiest things to notice is spotting fluid on the ground. If you see reddish-brown stains under your car, especially around the middle or just behind the engine bay, it could be gear oil leaking from the transmission. Unlike engine oil, which is usually black or amber, transmission fluid often has that brownish-red tint. For older manual gearboxes, it may appear more light brown. Seeing drips on the driveway is your car's way of saying, "Something's wrong down here." Transmission leaks never fix themselves. If you spot them, you'll want to trace the source, whether it's a bad seal, a cracked case, or a worn gasket. Another huge sign is trouble shifting. Have you ever gone to change gears and felt a delay, a grind, or that the lever just doesn't want to move smoothly? Low fluid can starve the synchronizers, which are designed to match the speed of the gears before they engage. Without enough lubrication, the synchronizers can't do their job, and you end up forcing gears together. That creates grinding, clunking, or even slipping, where the car doesn't hold the gear you selected. In some cases, you may notice slow gear engagement, especially from neutral into first or reverse, where it feels like the car hesitates before the gear grabs. For manual cars, another symptom tied to low fluid is clutch drag, where pressing the pedal doesn't fully disengage the clutch disc from the flywheel, leaving it spinning slightly. Each attempt to shift produces a grinding sound, and while sometimes this comes from clutch linkage issues, low or degraded fluid can make it worse. Next up is smell. If you're driving and notice a burning odor, especially a sharp, chemical scent, that can be transmission fluid overheating. Low levels mean less fluid to carry heat away, so the gears run hotter, friction builds, and the oil can burn. Overheated gear oil also leaves behind sludge and varnish that coat parts, leading to corrosion and sticky movement. If you smell something burning, don't shrug it off. It's a major red flag. Noise is another clear signal. Some drivers report a noisy gearbox even when the car is sitting in neutral. That can sound like clunking, whining, or mechanical grinding. And while sometimes it points to worn gears or bearings, it can also be as simple as fluid that's too low. Fresh, correct fluid cushions those sounds. Starved fluid makes every rotation harsher and louder. Performance can also suffer. If you notice your car accelerating poorly, almost like it's struggling to translate engine power into forward motion, low transmission fluid could be part of the issue. The gears aren't meshing or holding as they should, so while the engine revs up, the car feels sluggish. Add to that the possibility of slipping gears, where you select a gear and the car seems to pop out or lose connection, and you can see why fluid levels are so critical. Finally, pay attention to the lights on your dashboard. Modern vehicles have sensors that watch the transmission as well as the engine. If something seems off, you might get a check engine light or even a specific transmission warning. That light can come on before you feel symptoms, so never ignore it. A scan tool will often confirm whether the issue relates to transmission fluid. So we've covered what happens when fluid runs low. But what exactly is this fluid, and why is it different from the automatic stuff? Manual transmission fluid, also called gear oil, is thicker and more robust than automatic transmission fluid. Automatic fluid doubles as a hydraulic medium to operate clutch packs and valve bodies, so it needs to flow quickly and handle complex frictional properties. Manual fluid doesn't do that. Its job is to build a durable protective film, cushion the gears, and be gentle on brass synchronizers. That's why viscosity matters. Too thick, and it resists flow, especially in cold weather, making your shift stiff until the car warms up. Too thin, and it doesn't protect or cushion enough, leading to grinding and wear. Manufacturers design specific formulas for these reasons. Some of the fluids that enthusiasts and mechanics swear by include GM Synchromesh Friction Modified Fluid, which works extremely well in Honda gearboxes and is safe for brass synchros. For older Chevy and GMC pickups, especially those built between 1968 and 1991 with the Muncie SM465 transmission, the standard recommendation is an 80W90 GL5 lubricant. Drivers of a 2001 Toyota Celica GT often turn to Redline MT90, though some prefer Redline MTL, a lighter alternative that behaves differently in cold versus hot climates. Ford Focus owners sometimes use Rotella T65W40, which has a viscosity at operating temperature similar to MT90 but flows better in the cold, making shifts easier in winter. But it comes with a warning. Some transmissions will destroy synchronizers if you put in a standard gear oil instead of the proper MT lube. So following the manufacturer's recommendation is always essential. Nissan, for example, specifies MTXZ Gear Oil 75W80 as a genuine option for their passenger vehicles. Royal Purple also produces synthetic gear oils that some mechanics recommend to improve shifting in trucks during cold weather. So how often should you actually change manual transmission fluid? While many people forget about it, the general guideline is every 30,000 to 60,000 miles. Some sources are stricter, recommending every 30,000 miles or 2 years, whichever comes first. The exact interval depends on how you drive. City traffic, towing, steep hills, or high-performance use all stress the transmission more and may require more frequent changes. Older vehicles may also need shorter intervals as their parts wear. The bottom line is to check your manual and follow the manufacturer's schedule, because they know the tolerances and design of your gearbox best. Now let's get into the practical side. How to change the fluid. We'll start with a Honda example, specifically the Civic Type R 10th generation, but the process applies to most Honda manual gearboxes. You'll need a few tools: a 732 socket, a 10mm socket, a 3/8-inch ratchet extension, some Phillips screws or clips removed from the underbody cover, a flat-bladed screwdriver, a drain pan, new crush washers, about 2.2 liters of GM Synchromesh fluid, or Honda MTF, and a long funnel. The crucial first step is to always loosen the fill plug before draining anything. If you drain the oil and then discover the fill plug is seized, you're in real trouble. With the fill plug confirmed loose, remove the airbox assembly for access, then remove the underbody cover to reach the drain plug. Loosen it with a 3/8-inch ratchet square end, remove it, and let the old fluid drain. Clean the plug, replace the crush washer, reinstall it, and torque it down gently. Then use your funnel to fill the gearbox with 2.2 liters of fluid until it just begins to spill out of the fill hole. Replace the crush washer on the fill plug, reinstall it, and reassemble everything you removed. Afterward, take the car for a drive and you should feel smoother shifts, less notchiness, and a general improvement. For Chevy and GMC pickups with the old Muncie SM465, the process is similar but with heavier oil. Place a pan under the truck, clean the outside of the transmission, and locate both the drain plug and the fill plug. Always crack the fill plug first, drain the old oil, clean the magnetic drain plug to remove metal shavings, and reinstall it. Pump in about 4 quarts of 80W90 GL5 gear oil until it flows out of the fill hole, then snug the plug to about 15 to 25 foot-pounds. Start the truck, drive through all the gears, and then check again for leaks or low level. For Ford manuals, especially the Focus 5-speed, the key detail is using the correct fluid. Many owners go with Rotella T65W40, but be careful. If the transmission is not designed for gear oil, you must use an MT lube or risk damaging your synchronizers. Always consult your manual or dealership parts counter before substituting. Nissan owners should look for MTXZ gear oil 75W80, which is designed for their gearboxes. While specific procedures aren't detailed here, the principle is always the same. Loosen the fill plug first, drain, replace with the correct capacity of manufacturer-specified fluid, and torque everything properly. At this point, you might be wondering about cost. Fortunately, manual transmission fluid changes are much cheaper than automatic ones. The fluid itself often costs $50 to $100 for enough to do a change. Labor at a shop may run another $100 to $200, depending on how difficult access is and how seized the plugs might be. Compared to the thousands a gearbox rebuild could cost, it's a bargain. Let's pause here for a quick reminder. If you're finding this information valuable, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Auto V Fix. That way, you'll always have trusted, in-depth guides for keeping your car running smoothly. To wrap things up, manual transmission fluid is not just oil sloshing around inside your gearbox. It's a carefully engineered lubricant that plays a critical role in your car's performance and longevity. The signs of low fluid: leaks on the ground, grinding or clunking while shifting, burning smells, poor acceleration, strange noises in neutral, and warning lights are all signals you should act on immediately. The types of fluid matter greatly, and putting the wrong one in can shorten the life of your transmission dramatically. Change intervals of 30,000 to 60,000 miles are a good rule of thumb, and doing the job yourself with the right tools can save you money. Whether you're driving a Honda, Chevy, Nissan, or Ford, following the correct procedure and using the recommended fluid ensures smooth shifts, reliable performance, and protection against costly breakdowns. So the next time you think about maintenance, don't forget about your gearbox. Give it fresh fluid on schedule, listen for the warning signs, and respect the specific needs of your vehicle. Doing so will reward you with years of reliable driving and that satisfying feeling of crisp manual shifts. Thanks for watching Auto V Fix, and don't forget to subscribe for more detailed car repair explainers. Your gearbox will thank you.